Following the astronomical success of the Fallout TV series launch, all of the Fallout games are having a sort of resurgence on Steam. Much more surprising is Fallout 76 just beat its all-time peak for concurrent players since it originally launched on Steam in 2020. It seems like there are a lot of people either jumping into the game again to see how much it has changed, or just new players willing to give the game series a shot for the first time. With Fallout 76 currently free on Amazon Gaming, this is such a great time to jump into the game. In this video, I'm going to cover some major tips for new and returning players that will help you make the most out of exploring the wastes of West Virginia. Now, Bethesda has a guiding principle for their games where, much like you would stumble across a location to explore on your journey, they kind of want you to stumble upon some of the game's features while playing and learn about it without having to hold your hand through each of the game's features. In theory, this is very awesome for long-term fans of the series, but in reality, there are a lot of things thrown at you at the beginning of the game, and it could be overwhelming for a new player. If you're absolutely new to Fallout 76, the first and most important thing you need to know is that this game has a little bit more survival and scavenging mechanics thrown into the game loop as opposed to previous Bethesda games. What this means is you are going to run into situations where your guns or armor will need frequent patching up with materials, as well as needing materials to craft ammo and healing items. The biggest tip I can give new players is to just simply pick up everything you come across. Weapons, armor, junk components, get it all and you can take it to any of the game's workbenches and reduce it to scrap. This will give you the basic building components that you will use to craft anything in the game. You can also learn mods for weapons and armor by scrapping them. For example, if you take a bunch of 10mm pistols and scrap them all, you can unlock mods for that gun, like an extended mag, higher damage receiver, and so forth. So it really benefits you to take everything and learn what materials they give you, so that way when you're scrapping and when you're out on the wasteland, you know what junk items to look out for in the future. The next thing you want to keep an eye out for are donation boxes. When the game originally came out, it was actually kind of a common practice for higher level players to drop off loot to lower level players. Your inventory in the game is finite, so people would just drop off their excess healing items, ammo they weren't using, as well as crafting plans they already learned to new players in the game to help them out. This happened so frequently, in fact, that the developers created these donation boxes specifically for this purpose, and they're scattered all throughout the map. The first one you're going to find will be simply outside the original vault down the stairs. This will be at most of the major hubs in the game, and it's a great resource for hand-me-down equipment from veterans of this game. Be sure to check these often, and then pay it forward when you reach the higher levels. The next thing I want to go over are healing items. Stim packs, like in other Fallout games, are going to be your go-to for healing, but early on they're fairly hard to come by, and you don't get a recipe to craft them for yourself until later in the game. It is recommended to save stim packs for healing specifically when you're in a fight, and if you're healing outside of a fight, it is much more beneficial to eat food. You will get a bonus for being well fed or well hydrated, and it's a great way to heal yourself. It does take more time for the health bar to replenish, but like I said, use this option when out of fights to keep your stim packs on hand for more dangerous encounters. To piggyback off the last tip, your camp is a placeable location that you can build your own hub at. These can be placed pretty much anywhere on the map that isn't a named location, and you can come across these resource nodes when you're exploring. If you build a camp around one of these areas, you can build an excavator that will periodically provide you with said resource every time you stop back at your camp. I have an old video guide that shows the best camping spot for a new player, as it has a junk node that provides an assortment of useful materials, as well as being in a convenient location that has a bunch of plants that can be crafted into healing items. I will put that video in the description down below, and I would highly suggest checking that place out and putting your first camp there until you learn more about better locations. The next thing I'm going to cover are all of the major hubs in the game. This is kind of a location where you can meet up with other players. They generally have all of the crafting benches. You can drop off your own loot at a stash box, and there's usually a vendor at each one. The first and most common ones are going to be at the train stations. If you see a train icon on the map, these are one of the player hubs that you can go to just simply relax. There is a crafting bench at every one, a stash box to put your excess junk and items, as well as a vendor you can use to offload those items. Each train station also has one of those donation boxes I mentioned earlier, so it is good to check these whenever you stop by. These train stations are located on every region of the map, so you always have a place where you can stop by and drop off any loot that isn't your own camp. There is also what is called a legendary scrap machine, which you can use to scrap your legendary items for legendary script. You will use this resource to purchase more legendary gear, and you can find the vendor by heading to the ash heap area in the south. Inside this area is another player hub with various crafting benches and a stash box, but this location also has a unique vendor that you can talk to turn in your legendary script into a random legendary item of whatever category you are choosing. The items you get will be based on your level, so I would advise only using your script after you reach level 50 to ensure you're getting the best items that you can. The next player hub is going to be in the ash heap called Nuka World on Tour. This area was added in as a recent content update and has a bunch of fun quests tied around this area. This area also has a hub with every crafting bench, a legendary scrapper, stash box, and vendors. So if you need to unload and craft, this spot is very good to keep in mind. Now, the next and probably most important major hub is going to be the White Springs Hotel. This is smack dab in the middle of the map before you fully enter the Savage Divide region, and there's a lot to say about this area. There's a ton of content that is geared more towards the end game, but this location has a hub with every crafting bench, plus every single vendor that you find at all of the train stations will have another vendor here with the same loot pool. So if you want to go shopping, you can go to this one area that has every single vendor in one location. As I said, there's also quite a bit of quest content here and a good place to get XP, but I want to keep this as spoiler free as possible. Definitely do it at your own time. Just know that this place pretty much has everything. And then the last game feature I want to explain is the public team system. They came out with this in a previous update, and it makes it very easy to group up with other players. Simply open the social menu and head to the third tab to create a public group. There are different categories of groups to let other players know what content you are planning to do. Each category offers a different bonus that will get better the longer the players stay inside the group. There are many perks that are centered around giving you a bigger bonus the bigger your team is, so this is a great way to make sure you're always getting those bonuses if that is the build that you're running with. So there you have it. I believe this covers the majority of basic information you would need to succeed in Fallout 76. There is a ton more content that I can cover, especially in the end game, so if you're interested in seeing more tips and tricks, please be sure to subscribe for the next videos. I am really happy that this game is doing so well right now. There was a point in No Man's Sky's history where massive people jumped in to give it a try, and it was really accepted back into the gaming community and was really popular back then. I believe that Fallout 76 is in a similar state with its performance and content added, but it seemed like there wasn't really an event that made people want to jump back in. This show is a perfect launching point to get Fallout 76 back on the map, and I really hope that if you're a newer returning player that you stay for a while, because this game really is special. It gets really fun once you get to the end game and you got your build all decided, and the gaming community around this game is some of the best that you can find online. I even started a new character recently, and when I went last night to his camp to buy some items, he just came by and gave me a bunch of weapons for free, and he even said, "Hey, I hope you stick around, I hope you're enjoying the game." So definitely a lot of players are excited that a lot of people are jumping in, so definitely give this game a try, talk to the higher level players, and have a good time. Let me know in the comment section below if you are a new player, if you're returning, if you're giving it a shot for the first time, or if you're absolutely new to Fallout. I would love to continue the discussion of what your thoughts are on this game. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.